Blog Talk Radio.
Because people like to have a hell of a time, don't they?
Do not seek to have our decisions and our morality approved or validated by any higher god or being.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, so let it be. In God we trust.
Satanism as legitimate Satanists define it.
Satan, Satan, our Lord and Master, I acknowledge thee as my God and Prince.
Satan is a god too.
This is the No Apologies Podcast, your source for all things Satanism. Now here's your hosts, Brother Nero and Brother Obitus.
Hello everybody, this is Brother Nero, and I'd like to welcome you to the premiere episode of the No Apologies Podcast.
And hey everybody, this is Brother Obitus. Thanks for calling in and listening to our show.
Before we get started, I just want to say a couple of things. I'm battling a cough here, so Brother Obitus might have to jump in and save me. This is live podcasting after all. The benefit of that is you can actually call in and give us a hard time if you want to. So, but anyway, if he has to jump in and save me, that'll be what he'll do. Anyway, I guess the first thing we should talk about is a little bit about why the show. Why are we doing the show? What caused us to decide to do this? And so I'd like to start off by just saying, we decided to do this show because from the beginning, we've intended it to be kind of a non-denominational show. We've kind of gotten frustrated with the infighting between the different groups and different denominations, and we wanted the No Apologies show to be, a place where all Satanists, regardless of whatever the tradition they believed in, could come and join us. Brother Obitus, you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, yeah, man, I just want to say we wanted to do a show for everybody in the Satanic community that, like he said, is pretty much non-denominational, because the thing is, me and Nero have been around doing our things for a while, and, a lot of people don't like us. I mean, a lot of people don't like us, and if anybody's even listening right now, chances are you don't like us. But the thing is guys, no one's ever really got to know us, so we wanted to let everybody know what we're really about. What we're really about, and hear us how we really are, no bullshit, no nothing. And we wanted to do a show that's not only informative, but entertaining. We know there's a lot of people out there, Satanist ministers online and YouTube and things, they're always being so damn serious and taking themselves so seriously and acting like they're the next LaVey or Crowley, and we know we damn ain't. We got
ordinary
stuff to say,
people.
and we want to teach. Yeah, we got stuff to say, we want to teach. Yeah, ordinary people. And we got stuff to say, we want to teach stuff, but at the same time, we want to make it entertaining. And we're going to try to entertain you. We might not.
Yeah. It could be a train wreck. It could be a train wreck.
Yeah, it might.
We don't know how this is going to turn out, because we haven't really done live podcasting before. So we'll see what happens. And if you like it, great. If you don't, well, there's nothing we can do about that. But the other thing I want to say here is, why did we call it the No Apologies Program? Well, the reason we called it the No Apologies Program was because we wanted to invite modernists and traditionalists. And that's a politically incorrect thing to do nowadays. So that's why we call it No Apologies, because we're going to invite guests on that we think are beneficial to our audience. And we don't care what tradition they're from. And that's why we called it that, because we're going to do the show how we want to. Go ahead.
Yep. And with that being said, just want to tell you guys, I hope it doesn't suck. And if it sucks, I would say you have my apologies. I guess I can't say that, seeing the name of the show and all that. So, anyway, with that out of the way, the first thing we're going to do for you tonight is a book review. And normally we would have a cool little intro for me to do this book review that I'm about to give you guys, but everything didn't go quite as planned, so you'll have to forgive us about that, and you'll probably have to hear that a lot over the months that the show goes on. But All right. I got a little book review for everybody. Book review time. Brother Obitus' book review. All right, be a little serious here. Some of you may have already read this book, but for those that haven't, I'd like to tell you all about it. It's a book called The Black Arts by Richard Cavendish, however you exactly pronounce it. And a lot of people, if you haven't read it, if you shop around at your Books A Million or Barnes & Noble, you've probably seen it on the shelf. It's an older book. It's from the late 60s. It's called The Black Arts, and it's an overall book about the occult. And the thing about this book, it is a very, very good read. I highly recommend it because it covers, when I say it's a general book about the occult, it covers pretty much everything. It covers everything from Crowley to pagan, shamanistic magic to Satanism. And what makes it so important, I think, for Satanists to look at the book is the chapter on Satanism and the Black Mass. Because, unlike a lot of other authors, people like Margaret Murray and others, is that Richard Cavendish doesn't really seem to have he doesn't have a reason to have an axe to grind about the subject. He tries to be very objective about it, and his opinions are really based on fact, and the actual account, the court stuff from the witch trial. And the most important thing for Satanists, what I think, is that he debunks the idea, pretty much debunks it best as he could, the idea that Wiccans and a lot of other people have, that the medieval witches were actually the survival of a pagan cult. He's adamant that they did worship the devil. And the evidence he gives for this is, first of all, for those of you who didn't know, the medieval witch cult didn't actually appear until the late medieval period. So we're talking about a very, very big gap between when paganism died out and when these cults started. And we're talking about illiterate people. We're talking about illiterate peasants who have been, completely dominated by the church for centuries. There's not really much of a chance for a full-blown survival of a pagan cult. Secondly, the accounts of what the witch cult was doing, or the devil worshippers, as we should say, doesn't really correspond to what we know about pagan religion. For example, when's the last time you were reading a book about whether it be Greeks, Romans, or the Norse calling their religious ceremonies Sabbaths and using the symbols of devil worship? Even Pan himself, even though he's a well-known deity, he wasn't a major deity as far as the people went. And let's face it, if a pagan cult had survived for centuries, it's probably more likely to be a cult of Zeus or something like that. But the point is that Richard Cavendish talks about all this, he makes a very thorough argument against the idea of medieval worshippers having been just a bunch of misunderstood pagans instead of devil worshippers. And besides that, I
want to add something if I can. Yeah, it's just the fact that Richard Cavendish he's a historian. He has no axe to grind. He's not, he's not trying to promote the agenda of Satanism or witchcraft. He's just reporting what the history tells us, and that's very important to understand, about this book.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing he points out about the people who say there was no cult at all, whether they be devil worshippers or surviving pagans, is that with so much, it's just silly to think without so much smoke there could be no fire. And he even concedes that even though he believes there was a devil worshipping cult, it was not a Europe-wide one-movement conspiracy against the church. That's not what it was. It was sporadic, small groups of individuals. And the thing is the majority of the people killed in the witch hunts were certainly not devil worshippers, the majority were innocent people wrongly accused. But what's important, as he says, is that, Satanists exist today, even if in small numbers, and there's no reason to think that it wasn't any different then. they probably did exist in small numbers, just like today. And besides that, to move on for the rest of the book, because we're running out of time for the book review here, is that you should read it as a Satanist for the section on devil worship, especially if you're new to Satanism, and a lot of the stuff you read from Margaret Murray and the people influenced by her. If any of that stuff is confusing you or making you wonder, I highly suggest reading Richard Cavendish's work. It'll make you feel a lot better about knowing that devil worship actually is a centuries-old religion. But besides that, all the other stuff he covers in the book, yes, especially his sections on alchemy and ceremonial magic, and he talks about Aleister Crowley. It's all of it is factual. You know, I haven't read the book in a long while, but I've read the book many a time. It's a book that, especially when I was newer to Satanism, it was a book that I read over and over and over again to absorb the facts from it. And it is a good book. I highly suggest it to anybody in Satanism, whether you're new to Satanism or if you've been a Satanist for a few years, or no matter how long you've been a Satanist. If you haven't checked this book out, if you're interested in the occult, it is an excellent addition to your home library. It's a wonderful book. It's zero bullshit. And since it covers a wide variety of stuff, I mean, it's not in each subject, of course. The book it's not the kind of book that's it's a walking encyclopedia. You buy it and you don't need to read other stuff. It's not like that, of course, because a book of this size that covers such wide variety of topics, because like I said, it covers pretty much everything in occultism. But what it does say is all factual. It gives you a basic understanding of everything from alchemy to necromancy. And that being said, when it comes to a basic book that is a basic book covering all areas of occultism from a non-biased perspective, you really can't get any better than Richard Cavendish's Black Art.
Okay. And the other thing I just want to point out is that it has a really interesting section about the history of numerology and stuff like that. So it definitely gives you a little bit of an introduction into other subjects, mystical subjects as well. So it definitely is a great historical book. I think coming up next we have our co-producer, Rosemary Lane, and she's going to be giving you some recipes for summer solstice. I just want to say a thing about the recipes. Now, some of you out there who are Satanists might be going, why the hell do we want to have recipes? What is this, like Julia Child or something like that? No, it really is kind of like what my books are like and what Casey's books are like. We're trying to build tradition here. We're trying to help people who might be new to Satanism, who have trouble trying to decide how to raise their children in Satanism or how to introduce traditions to their family, try to have something to do with their kids if they so choose. And Rosemary's about to give you a little bit of information on that.